being here in Atlanta?
It was exciting to be back. I haven't played this event. I haven't been here in quite some time, and it's great to have accomplished one of the goals I set out at the beginning of the year was to make it back to East Lake to be part of the Tour Championship and part of these top 30 guys. And I've accomplished that. Now I want to get the W and then head into next week in the Ryder Cup.
Well, raise hands. We'll take some questions. Start in the back.
Hi, Tiger. Welcome back. You mentioned getting the W. How much do you feel a win would help validate your season, a season that's already seen some terrific performances and high-place finishes?
Well, I think the season itself has been amazing. To be able to have played this well, and after coming off of what I came off of, and didn't know how many tournaments I'd play in, and next you know, here I am in the Tour Championship. So, there's some guys that can't say that they've accomplished that and have gotten into the Tour Championship, but to have come back from where I've come back from and to get here has been a pretty tall order and something I'm proud of.
Cameron?
Tiger, you mentioned the close finishes. Can you put your finger on like any one thing that it's been that's kept you from getting over the line, or is it just that's golf?
Well, it's always been something here. It's been I haven't driven it well, I haven't hit my irons well, I haven't chipped well, I haven't putted well, and it's just pick one of those things, and it happens to be that particular week. I seem to have gotten most of those things going well, but there's always something missing. And it could be any of those facets of the game. I just haven't put it all together at the same time. That's something that hopefully it'll coming together this week.
Sean?
Just wanted to get your thoughts on the new FedEx Cup format for the Tour Championship and having some of the leaderboard determined Thursday before you even tee off. Does that change what you guys do or change your job at all?
No, it makes it a lot less complicated. That's for sure, and we've made it a lot easier on Steve Sands, and so he doesn't have to do all that quick math. It's pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's very different, but I think it has simplified things not only for the players but certainly for the fans. The scenarios don't play out as complicated as what is being described on TV. It has made it much easier to understand going in.
Corner.
Tiger, welcome back to the East Lake, and beginning of the year, we never thought you would be coming back here on the East Lake. But let me ask you about the bigger picture. In 2 years from now, do you see yourself playing in Tokyo?
That'd be an accomplishment to be part of one of the top American players. Have worked my way back to that point, and then obviously it's 2 years from now, and to have played that consistently, for that period of time, something I put it this way: I'd like to see that happen. I need to go out there and do it, and I need to keep my game at the level it is, and maybe refine it a little bit more, and stay healthy for that long. It's something that I haven't done in a number of years, and this is a good starting point.
Go here, and then Todd.
Hey, Tiger, you said one of your goals this year was to make it back to East Lake. Overall in 2018, how many of your personal goals did you meet this year?
Put it this way, I've exceeded most of them. Because the beginning of the year was such an unknown. I didn't know if I would be able to make it to Florida and to play the Florida swing. Let's just start out at Torrey and see how it goes. Then I added Tampa in there because I missed the cut in LA. And just to have that opportunity to be able to add a tournament, I thought I was going to be taking tournaments away. But to have added a couple and have earned my way into Akron, those are some things that I'm looking at this year more of. I've exceeded a lot of my expectations and goals because so much of it was an unknown.
Go Todd, and then here.
Tiger, given what you just said, from where you were last year to where you are now, how would you rank this year in your career?
Well, in the W category, doesn't compare to some of the years I've had where I've won 8 or 9 times in a year. But to have come off the last few years of inactivity and to be able to have qualified for Eastlake and to be as consistent I've been, and to have put together a game from pretty much nothing, that's something I'm very proud of. And I don't know if it's one that it's not going to rank up there as one of my top seasons because I didn't win 8 or 9 times in a season. I didn't win 2 to 3 majors in a year. But to have accomplished what I've accomplished and have gotten through what I've gotten through to get back to this point, something I'm very proud of.
In the back.
Tiger, there's been, looking ahead to next week, there's been a lot said about the strength of the American team, possibly one of the strongest teams of all time, etc. With your experience, is that fair? And as the Americans are strong favourites to win this Ryder Cup, do you think that is also fair, or is it something you have to be slightly wary of?
I think the European side is one of the best they've ever had. Yeah, we have a solid team, but so are the Europeans, and it plays out over 3 days, and it's about playing well at the right time and partnering up well at the right time, and making putts. And I think both teams are very deep this year going into the event, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun for both sides and see how it plays out.
Karen?
Tiger, a few years ago, you wondered aloud why more players didn't seek you out to pick your brain. And I was wondering if the stints as a vice captain sort of showed them that you are approachable, and that's how much of a difference that's made, and just letting them feel comfortable seeking your advice. And
well, I think it's not necessarily it's seeking my advice in that regard, but I think that I didn't really get the chance to play with a lot of these young guys. They were just coming out, and I was leaving the game because of my back, and so I didn't get a chance to be around this young crew of guys. The vice captains and the captain of this year team and the teams in general the last since 16 were the guys that I grew up playing with, and they know me very well. These young guys, their early 20s, as I said, they were coming in when I was going out, and so being a vice captain, being part of the teams, and getting to know them on a different level, I think that's where the questions started popping up, and they started inquiring of some of the things that I've gone through and how they could become better.
We'll stay here with Jeff, and then you.
Speaking of next week, if you were to partner with one of those good young guys, Bryson, DeChambeau, why would that partnership work?
Well, and Bryson in particular, I've gotten to know Bryson very well, and what an amazing talent and an unbelievable hard worker. He has figured out a way to play this game his own way, and he's very efficient on what he does, and he's not afraid to think outside the box on how he can become better. And that's one of the things that, if you look at all the great players of all time, they've figured out their own way, and they've kind of understood how they need to become better. And he's doing that, and he's proven that this year, and winning those 2 playoff events back-to-back show that he's on the right track.
We'll go here, and then Bob.
Tiger, when was it in the process this year where the moment you had where it clicked for you and you realized that you were going to be able to consistently compete at the top of leaderboards?
Well, I think that more than anything, it was the fact that after I missed the cut in LA, and I felt good enough to add a couple more rounds at Tampa. If I stayed healthy enough and was progressing along the way I was progressing, that I would figure out a way to play this game. I would have to alter my swing a bit, alter my equipment a bit, but I would figure out a way to how to do it. But I just needed rounds. In order to get rounds, I had to be physically fit and healthy enough to do it. and I felt pretty confident to be able to add a tournament in there, and so that added a couple extra days of competitive play that I hadn't accounted for, and so it started early in the year of that I could actually do this. I just need to keep my body strong, keep it moving, and eventually I would find a game that could contend and that eventually would lead to wins.
Bob and then Steve. David.
Tiger, the last Ryder Cup you played in was obviously a tough result for the U.S. I'm just wondering how much you think back to that, how much that's come up in your mind over the last several years since you played, and also, maybe where it might rank in your own career disappointments.
Yeah, it was tough because we had a 4-point lead starting out the day on Sunday, and to not, I'd worked my way back against Francisco. I was 1 down with a few to go, and I turned the match, and I was 1 up, and thought my match would be the deciding point. Some of the guys had some tough losses. I wasn't feeling physically well, that Ryder Cup, and that's where my back started bugging me. And if you know that's the only wave I've ever missed was a Saturday afternoon wave, because I told Davis I just really couldn't go, and I said, oh, can you put me out later on Sunday because I need the time to get my back organized here. It was tough watching them celebrate in the 18th fairway when I thought we should have won that one. It was tough listening to the celebrations at the Belfry in 02. I was on the 17th hole playing against Jesper. Listen to them celebrate going up 18, to hear that sound, and to not have the point count on Sunday is tough. And it's a tough situation. It's tough as a team. It's tough for our captain. It's tough for everyone involved, not to have won the cup, because that's the ultimate goal. That's why we go in there and play, is to win, and to win as a team. And we didn't do that year.
Steve?
Tiger, can you remember, now that we're at the last event of the season, a tournament this year when you came back, when you didn't think about your back, or there was an instance where maybe you realized you hadn't thought about it? There wasn't an instance where you approached a shot, or you just realized, I just never thought about it today?
Not for an entire day, no. There are certain shots I still think about it. And more than anything, I just feel it. I'll never be as flexible as I used to be. I can't. It's not moving. And so, there are things that I'm limited by. And, I get reminded every day, when I wake up in the morning that, this is not what it used to be. But it's a hell of a lot better than it's been the last few years.
Steve and then Art.
What have you missed most from not being able to play in this tournament? What have you missed most from this tournament? What have you missed most not being able to play in the Ryder Cup?
Miss most about playing this event is that in order to get into this event, I would have earned my way in here and being part of the the top 30 most consistent players of the year and the best players of the year. No exemptions into this event. You either get here or you don't. That's a very hard line, and I haven't done that in a number of years, and to have done it, something I'm as I said earlier, I'm very proud of. And missing the Ryder Cup, I miss playing in it. I miss competing in it. I miss that rush of going out there and trying to get a point for my team. I was a part of it in a different way in 16, which is very different, because I had been a part of these teams since '97 as a player only, and have looked at it from a different angle and a different side, or actually been forced to. I really want to play in it. I've been a player my entire career. I've been a part of these teams now for a better part of 20 years, and to have earned the confidence in my teammates and my captain to have been selected is something that gives me a lot of excitement going into the Cup.
Art, and then here.
Yeah, Tiger. It's been said that when you lose something you love and it's taken away from you, when you come back, you appreciate it more. In essence, you lost golf for a couple years. Now you're back. The whole interaction with the fans, interaction with players, I mean, whatever. Do you appreciate it more than you did maybe 5, 10 years ago?
I would say yes, because I didn't think I'd ever play again. When I was laying on the ground and couldn't move for a number of months, golf is the furthest thing from my mind. And to have gone through that and gotten to this point, it's been fun.
Time for 4 or 5 more. Here we go.
Hi, Tiger. Asher McGee from the Drew Charter School over here in East Lake. What advice would you give a student athlete trying to be successful?
I think it would be very simple. It's hard work, and I've always believed in working hard, and I have in my career and for me personally, I've derived a lot of my confidence from practice and putting out the effort. I've always said I'll work you, and because of that, when I get into an event, that I know I've outworked you, and so that mental edge, over my career has panned out, and I think that some of the student athletes that I've been able to work with over the years have learned that there really is no substitute for hard work and putting everything on the line.
And back.
Tiger, we're at a venue where you've had so much success in the past. What specifically is it here, whether it be the history of East Lake, what specifically is it about this setup, about the whole place that has brought out the best in you in the past?
Well, these have been some of the once they've redone the greens and went away from bent, some of the best Bermuda greens we'll ever putt on. They're as smooth as you can ever ask for. But in general, this golf course is a ball striker's course. I mean, you got to hit your golf ball well. You got to drive it well, place your irons correctly. But it really does set up for a good ball striker. And for most of my career, that's basically what I've done.
I'm going to steal the next one. This is your first time playing here since they reversed the nines. Just thought on the finishing stretch now.
Yeah, we were going to go off and play the back nine yesterday, and we played the back nine, and I thought it was the front nine. And so I've seen it on TV, but I haven't. I still think that 18 is a par 3, so having to rework the holes and and having to think that some of the holes are like 15. I'm usually thinking that's 6. So it's a weird concept, but one that I'll figure out here over the next day or so.
And back.
Yeah, Tiger, back left. What do you feel like you're going to need to be able to close out these 72 holes this week?
Basically, keep doing what I'm doing. I think I'm close to winning golf tournaments again. I've putting the pieces together. I've changed some of my technique as well as my equipment, and I'm very close. And I've come close in a couple of events, towards the end of the summer here, and it's about putting it all together at the right time.
Last question here, Evan.
Tiger, the World Cup in a couple of months' time has the unfortunate timing of falling during Thanksgiving. Can you just talk about how tough it is for a professional golfer to kind of leave his family for that entire week and travel somewhere across the world?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's dependent on, what country you're from. For us as Americans, Thanksgiving is a very important time of the year for us, and so other parts of the world probably don't look at it that way, and so probably it's a little bit easier. Some players have different holidays. Fanny's here. Midsummer's a big deal, and so it depends on where you're from. And for us, it's a big deal here. And some of the guys that are going to head down there probably will bring their family along and enjoy it.
Thank you, Tiger. Good luck this week.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate it.